So we're wrapping up with joy, huh? We're doing joy this month, one of the seven factors. One of the seven factors, sometimes if people forget this or are not aware of this, Buddhism, oh, Buddhism is heavy. Buddhism is all around about suffering. Joy is one of the seven factors of awakening. Joy is not just an add-on. A deeper practice doesn't happen without joy being really present. Yeah, without being really present. Yeah, yeah. So it's not just a nice thing to add to the mix. It's an essential thing to add to the mix. Yeah, yeah. All seven of them are there, are essential. We're going through them all. Yeah. So joy. Whenever these days, there's so many good ideas out there. Buddhism is filled with good ideas. It would be good to experience more joy. We would all agree with that, right? We would all agree with that. It's a good idea, right? It's a good idea. Always, for me, very quickly upon the idea is, well, what would be a baby step in that direction? Otherwise, it's just an idea. There's so much conditioning, there's so much momentum, there's so much energy, there's so much restlessness. Great, joy's a great idea. I want it more in my life. We do, we want it more. Now we could ask, why isn't it there more? Oh, I wonder why it isn't there more. What keeps me from experiencing joy? Well, that can be useful to explore, psychologically as well. Yeah. But what about the practice? What would be the step to begin to experience more joy in our lives? That's what I'm interested in, translating the idea to a step. Now, Susan brought up one last week, which is just great. I just thought it was so elegant. The joy of giving and receiving. And the thing is, with all of these practices, there are so many levels. There's so many levels. It's not that we just get it. We get it cognitively, and then we get it at another level cognitively, and then we get it at a deeper level, all of these, a deeper and deeper level. And so it is with giving and receiving. Sure, we've all given. It's a beautiful expression of the altruistic part of our nature. We've all given. We experience some joy in giving, right? But there's more experience. There's more joy to be experienced in giving. Even the giving itself, it's just we don't fully just let in our own goodness, the goodness of the altruistic goodness of simply offering. The simple, beautiful activity of offering, just letting in the fullness of that to ourselves in the giving. And of course, in the receiving, as Susan also pointed out, there's receiving, and then there's another level of receiving and another level of receiving. And it's joyful if we allow it to bloom a little, right? If we allow it to bloom a little. Both of those are so important in practicing joy and inviting joy into our lives. It's something we do. We're involved in giving and receiving all the time, but we don't let the joy in fully in those activities. A little bit, a little squeaky bit, we let it in. Oh yeah, it's nice. But we don't necessarily let it in more fully. Either our own goodness in giving or the goodness it's coming to us in the receiving. And I just love that Susan put that out so elegantly last week. And I want to just emphasize that again. Those are daily life practices to invite joy. You see, the Western way is, oh, where is joy? It's out there somewhere. Maybe I need to do something else out here or experience something else, or I'm waiting for something else. We don't think of it this way, that our experience is co-created. It's co-created. If we want more joy, in our life, we have to co-create it. We have to bring it forward. We have to intentionally bring it forward. and find smaller ways to bring it forward, just a few seconds at a time. It doesn't, it's not like, oh, suddenly one day joy is just going to land. No, it's not going to land. Not unless we invite it and find very, very simple ways to invite it and savor it for a few seconds at a time. Oh, I can't feel joyful. No, I can't do that. But in this, how about in this breath? How about in one out breath? Which brings me to the other aspect of joy, the inner joy. The inner joy. How can we begin to practice that? Because we don't usually. We don't usually. We don't usually, unless we invite it, experience the joy, the simple joy. We'll do some of this in the guided meditation in a few minutes as well. The simple joy, right, of being alive right now. Right now, the heart is beating, the breath is moving. It's an absolute miracle. It's amazing, right? Right now. It doesn't take a tremendous amount of samadhi to see this, to know this, and to feel it just for a moment. Just for a moment. Oh my goodness, we're alive. Yeah. Most body parts are still working. The mind is still working. We still understand. It's amazing. Yeah. Well, can we just drop into that space? Can we just drop into that space a few times a day for 10 seconds? That's how gradually we begin to invite joy, not in some dramatic way. Yeah, not in some, I think that is dramatic, by the way, in its own way, but it's so obvious. But we don't just take that moment to go, oh, unbelievable, just unbelievable. This is just unbelievable that we're here breathing. Just that simple awareness, allowing it to move, not just to be an idea, yeah, but gradually, because the body feels it. It's just like, how amazing this is. And I can't stay there. I can't stay anywhere. But I can invite that in for a moment, just for a moment of appreciation, from that moment of, oh, how wonderful, how wonderful. So with joy, these simple practices, experiencing more of the joy of giving in the moment, actually feeling it, the joy of receiving, actually feeling it, and the joy of being alive, the joy of just being alive and feeling that just for a moment. Because all the other thoughts would be there. Blah, 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 blah. Of course they are. We know those. We know they're there. We know they're there. But just for a moment, just clear the underbrush for a moment and go, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, that's something I do several times a day. And I know that Susan does. And we encourage you to try that as well. A few seconds at a time. Yeah. One breath at a time when you can. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's keep practicing that. We definitely don't want to leave joy in the rearview mirror here as we move along. We all want more of that. Yeah. In the Buddhist way, it's very simple. If you want more of that, you have to practice more of that. It's bhavana. It's cultivating. It's calling it forth into being. We have the potential to call it forth into being for a moment. We can co-create it for a moment. It's possible for us to do this. Yeah. And then Susan will say, it's for our welfare. It's for our welfare. Okay. Yeah. So please keep finding ways in these smaller moments to invite joy into your lives. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we'll do some of that in our meditation practice together as well this morning. Okay. Yeah. So opening up. Oh, the joy of being able to open up. Mm. Mm. And when you're ready, beginning to slow it down and lightly closing the eyes. And just for a moment here, noticing that the breath is already moving. It's still moving. And the heart is definitely still beating. And there is awareness here and the ability to understand here, sitting, practicing with the Sangha. Many of you have shown up this morning. And just softening the breath a little. And experiencing the simple truth of that and the simple joy of that. When the mind drifts away and you've noticed that, returning as if to something that really is quite precious. We can attend to the breath as if it's ordinary. We can attend to it as if it's boring, or we can attend to it as if it's precious. Softening. In the last few minutes, receiving, settling back, and noticing that the breath again is already moving. Awareness is already here. Receiving.